Good morning, friends and neighbors of the Hapeville channel. Dewey here. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, so if you're seeing this in a replay, I wanted to give you the date and time because a lot of times people watch this later in the day and then leave comments not realizing I'm not live in the moment. So if you're watching this past 9 a.m. Today on Tuesday, you can leave your comments, but I may not see them right away. Good morning, Julie. It's 52 degrees. It's not that cold, but I don't like when it gets below 70. So today I'm just going to take a brief walk. I have a cat sitting drop-in I have to do over in East Point today, so I got to be there at 10. But I figured I'd walk over here to this area. Good morning, Matina. Good to see you, my friend. I'm at the intersection of Lake Drive and Old Jonesboro, and I came over here for a reason, but then I saw something else. First of all, I thought I would flip around and show you. I love this house on the corner of Lake Drive and Old Jonesboro. I think it's number 416. And good morning, Beverly Miller. Nice to see you. I came walking down from my house on Walnut Street. I came walking down Lake Drive and saw this house sitting here, and I was like, I did a gasp, because do you see that big tree right there? There used to be another one right there, and I don't know when it was very recently. When it got torn down, you can see all of the, good morning, Kate. You can see all of the sawdust there, but there was another one just like this, huge. And it's always a surprise when a big old tree is gone. But, you know, he had to do it for a reason. Either it was diseased or, you know, threatening his house, or the way things are going in Hapeville, I'm thinking maybe he's going to sell that little strip and they're going to put a big old house in there. Who knows? Who knows? Because there's an infill house there and there all the way up Jonesboro to Walnut. But anyway, I was surprised. I was like, wow. But, you know, it really opens up his lot. He's got a beautiful house there, and as I mentioned before, I love the houses with the old original shades out there, the awnings. I think those are cool. Beverly Miller said the Cawthorns. You must recognize the house and who used to live there. The Cawthorns. Every now and then I'll see a man who looks to be about in his 70s out here, but I never see anybody else. But I figured I would walk in this area today, and the reason I wanted to start right here, we're at the corner of Dorsey Road and Old Jonesboro. The reason I thought I would start here is because a couple weeks ago I walked by here and I remarked about this apartment building, and I wondered, you know, when it was built, and I wonder what was here before it. This is Old Jonesboro Road, Lake Drive. Good morning, David. And one of our group members, I can't remember her name, but she made a comment and said that she thinks that these were built in around the 60s, but that she remembers when she was little, she used to come by here, and she said there was an old stone building here, and that her mother told her that there was an artesian well here in that building. And I thought that was fascinating to hear, because it lined right up with a post that I had made earlier this week. Do y'all remember? I had found this advertisement for a 700-foot artesian well that this company was pulling alkaline water out of, bottling it, and selling it all over Atlanta. Beverly says they still live there. I went to high school with their girls in the 80s. Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, they still live there. Fantastic. The Cawthorns. It's a beautiful corner. It's a beautiful corner. Good morning, Don. So I find it interesting that the post that I did earlier this week about an alkaline well, a 700-foot deep alkaline well here in Hapeville, and then right after that, in regard to 441, these apartments, somebody told me there used to be a stone structure here, and their mother told them that there was an alkaline well there. And it makes sense that it would be right off busy Old Jonesboro Road. But another reason that I was going to come by here is to show you all the park. The city is upgrading the play structures in these parks. One in Cofield, one here on Dorsey, and one over by the library. I wasn't part of it because I'm not on city council or anything like that, but I have to say this was what they had here before, and it's not ready to be used yet, but I guess they're just adding to it. It's cool. Kids will love this. I think they're going to put cement, they're going to add a cement walk down here. That structure is interesting, isn't it? I would have liked that as a kid. Then these are the original swing, I think. The original swing, I can't even tell. But I know the swings were there before, but it looks like they put a new one up. Good morning. My wife Beverly and I lived on Dorsey. Well, there we go. Here we are. We're going to walk down where you used to live. So, yeah, I was just talking about that place. One of our viewers said that they believe that place was built in the 60s, but before it, there was a stone structure there. Do you all remember that? And that there was an artesian well in it. And I did a post about that earlier this week. That well was being advertised in 1915. So if that's where it sat, it's funny how things come together. We're going to walk down Dorsey. I particularly love this street and this row of houses. This one was redone, about 2 or 3 years ago. But I love these houses because they're right across from the park. It's lovely. So we'll walk down Dorsey. I have to be home by about 9:45, so I'm going to watch the clock because I have to drive over to East Point to take care of some cats. The house at 427, that one looks new. And when I say new, you know, this could be 20 years old, but to me, in the story of Hapeville, that is new. It's number 427. There are duplexes over there. They look like they've been there for a while. So this is number 434. What I like about the one next to it, 434, what is this one? It doesn't say, but I love this big old mailbox that they have out front still. I hope you all are having a beautiful morning. It's lovely, a lovely day here in Hapeville. So on one of my last walks, I was over in Virginia Park, and I told you that I had found a list of names of the children that had perished in the day nursery explosion back in May of 1968. And it gave the name and addresses of the kids, and several of them lived in Hapeville. And I don't remember her name at this point, but I remember one of the children lived here in this duplex. Don Miller says, I'm 63 and the apartments were there for my earliest memories. All right. My guess is it was built in the 50s then. Thank you for that, Don. It looks like a 50s building. This is number 426. Number 424. Now we're at the intersection of Logan Place and Dorsey. And, oh look, there's a guy down there fixing the mailbox for 3332. No, 3232, this duplex right here. It's a lovely little stretch here, Logan Place. But I've walked down it before, and it's interesting, it goes all the way through, but I don't know that there's any addresses on Logan Place because none of the houses face Logan Place. Maybe when you get all the way down towards Mount Zion. Beverly says 426 is where I lived in high school. Right there, really? This is where Beverly Miller lived in high school. It's beautiful. It's very well taken care of right now. Don says 426, Beverly Sapp Miller's house. I love when people are watching and I'm actually somewhere that is relevant to you. I didn't even notice this until this moment, but look, the lot next to it is empty right now, y'all. Somebody's gonna snatch that up and build something. Who used to live there, Beverly? Was it ever developed? I don't see an apron anywhere or any, wow, I never even noticed this. How has a developer not snatched this up yet? Wow. It must, and I don't think anybody's in this one. Someone's gonna snatch this up. This is prime, and so is that. Wow. Never noticed that empty lot before. Good morning, Lisa, my friend Lisa from Disney. I'm always surprised when my friends from Florida or New York join in, because all I'm doing is walking around the hometown the town that I live in now, which I barely have a connection to. I've only been here coming up on 4 years. My son was with me the other day, and he followed me through the whole thing. So here's number 424. We're walking down Dorsey, and turns out Don Miller and Beverly lived here. Beverly says that empty lot I just showed was the Godbys. It was just a large lot. Wow. Well, it won't be long before somebody snatches that up and puts a house in. This one's for sale. Oh, they did a good job, at least visually. Curb appeal. This is 422. Look at that. Look how pretty. Oh, Douglas would love that house. There's a couple friends of mine who watch that grew up in Hapeville that say they want to move back. And I said, well, I'll always show you when there's a house for sale. Well, here's one. Number 422 Dorsey. Good morning, Dave. Good to see you, my friend. This one's cute. What I really love are the big windows. I love lots of light everywhere. This has turned into a realty tour. So we're walking up Dorsey. Boy, this is a steep hill, y'all. I think it's gonna be a short walk. I'm gonna go up this hill and back down the other side. This is number 419 Dorsey. And you know, I noticed number 418, that one's cute. The sun glare is right where we want to go. This is interesting. It's just, I'm so aware of all the empty lots here now. This one right here, look at that. It's just been a yard, but somebody is going to snatch that up and build something there, because they can cram houses in the smallest lots here now, which you'll see when I go up and around the corner, but that'll get snatched up. Now I'm hesitant to turn this way because of the sun. So I noticed that, good morning, Kim Firestone. When you walk up Dorsey and turn left on Forest, Dorsey continues over there, and then it's like a dead end. Makes me think before the highway, Dorsey must have continued all the way over to the other side. Oh, there's Holly Lovin's house. I just realized I'm passing in front of Holly's house. I always forget she lives over here. Here's number 411. 407 is cute. What did this say here? Don Miller said that was the Andrews Neff home that is for sale. It's a beautiful house. Good morning, John Hill. Oh. Don Miller says 411 was our house. Don and Beverly. This is where Don and Beverly lived. It's green now. It looks nice. Don and Beverly, from what year to what year did you live here? Beth Young Dawkins says, I think 407 was Tracy Young's house. It's lovely. The leaves are falling now, but 411 is covered beautifully by trees. Good morning, John. Kate says the Dorsey house is on Realtor.com for $340,000. Holy monkey on a cracker! Wow, it's beautiful. That blue house at $340,000. I love this one. Okay, here's 398. I like the brick houses. Another, oh, it's not even an empty lot. I never noticed that. 394 sits way off the road back there. Isn't that something? That always interests me. Well, it must be what they call grandfathered in, because now the city ordinance is that if you build a new house, it can't be set further back than the houses or further forward than the houses along the road for aesthetics. But that wasn't a thing back when 394 was put there. This one is cute, 405. Beth says, and the one up the hill from 407 was the Glosiers. It's funny that we took a walk this morning and happened to take a walk along the street where many of you lived and remember. I love how the sun hits this one in the morning, this side of the street, and look how beautiful that little house is. This is number 403. Number 392. Good morning, Melinda. Nice to see you. I'm taking a little walk around my neighborhood and I'm on Dorsey this morning. This house I really like. I think it's so cute. It just looks so 50s, mid-century modern. With the trees behind it. It's just a lovely little place here on Dorsey. I don't know the number. It doesn't, oh, there it is, 401. Beth Young Dawkins says maybe 403 was the Glosiers. Are they starting to look familiar to you? Or the same? You know, when you're gone for a while, it's hard to remember for sure. So you think maybe that was the Glosiers. And we're coming up to Forest Hill Road. I can't remember the name, but I have this map from 1939 that shows Forest Hill. It had a different name back then. Don't remember what it was off the top of my head. Woo! Y'all walking up that hill at 53 and out of, and with no stamina. This is 388. That looks like the remnants of, like I think that would be the original house and then they added all that on the front. But we're right at the corner of Dorsey. Don Miller says Carol Stevens lived on the corner at 3233. When I was working at the Depot Museum and I was in the archives, I found some photograph or reference to this house. I can't remember what it was, but I think some kind of women's club gathering or whatever, and they listed that it happened in the backyard at 3233. This would have been back in the 80s. That's a beautiful house on a beautiful corner lot on a beautiful day. With beautiful trees and beautiful sky. Isn't that lovely? Oh yeah, here we are, Forest Hill and Dorsey. So as I was saying, if you go down there, Dorsey continues over there a little bit, like a little dead end. It's interesting. So we'll walk back over to Walnut and then down to my house. Don Miller says, I skinned many a knee and a big toe on that hill on Dorsey. Bicycling, skateboarding, skating, running. I can imagine you did. Well, there you go. One last look before I continue walking. Thank you all for sharing your memories. I always appreciate that. Now we're headed towards Walnut Street, and if you were to continue down, you would go into the Northwoods Neighborhood, which is one of my favorite neighborhoods. I haven't walked through there yet because, as you all know, those houses are much larger and much farther apart. But boy, do I love that neighborhood. In particular, Woodland. I love that street because it's so quiet. The houses have plenty of land around them and cars hardly ever drive down them. Now here's where it gets interesting. At the corner of Forest Hill and Walnut, where I live on Walnut Street, you've got the past and the present staring right at each other. Here is a tiny little house from around 1920, the same year my house was built. It's tiny, but they've renovated it. It could still use a little curb appeal here. But when I got here, this lot was empty. Whatever house was sitting here facing Walnut is gone. I'm assuming it was facing Walnut because there was an apron there. There is an apron there. They sold that lot, and look at these monsters they've put up. Now look again. Oh, this, by the way, this is 375. Look at how cute that is, y'all. I would snap that up in a minute. But not in this climate. 375, it's adorable. There's a car coming, I better get out of the road. And there was a time where that's all you needed. There would be a full family in that house. That's all you needed. Now, bam. Buy it as big as you can get it. eat up all the yard. Look, for somebody who doesn't want to take care of a yard, this is perfect. This is a new construction and a new construction. So they put 2 big ones on here. They're not awful. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, but I prefer old. I like to be able to say, this house has been here for this long and these people lived here and there's been this many Christmases here. And, you know, in my opinion, what stories do you have to tell there? None yet. But when some crazy dude like me in 50 years comes walking around, if this house is still here, there'll be history to it and someone will share it. But right now, I prefer. Oh, look at that. And it's very clear how fast you can drive around here. So this is Walnut Street and we're headed east on Walnut Street. I very rarely come to this end of Walnut Street because of the hills, and I'm too lazy to walk the hills. This is number 384. Look how cute this one is, 381. With the fire red mimoji tree in front, Japanese maple. Look at that beautiful little house. Beth says to your left was the Parkinson's house. Of course, I see these comments and I'm not sure if I'm in the spot that you're literally talking about, but 384 may have been the Parkinson's house. Here's 385. I'm just so fascinated by homes and their histories. When you look at a place like 386, I look at places like this and I think this was some family's dream originally. Someone built this and bought this and paid for it for the first time. This one as well. This one as well. This one's particularly old, number 396. And I always wonder what family moved into this house 70, 80, sometimes 90 years ago. What family moved in and was so excited and had no idea that their house would be here almost 100 years later. This one is definitely from the 20s. You could tell by the style of it. This is I want to say a craftsman style home, but I could be off. But you see these in Hapeville. There's one over on Oak Drive that looks very similar to this that was built in 1922. But they're sitting on I always say they're sitting on a gold mine. Look, 396. Here's their house and this is their yard. But they're sitting on a gold mine because they can sell that piece, that little parcel for, I don't know what land is going for here in Hapeville now, but a house can fit right in there. They just got to decide, do they want to live that close to somebody? They're living that close on that side. But a lot of people are doing that. Their families have owned these houses for years and they're like, we don't need the yard anymore. But these people aren't at that point yet. A couple new, 3 new homes are being built down here. My friend Rin owns the little original house, which I'll show you in a minute, but she's getting hemmed in right here. Oh, gotcha. Thank you. The Parkinson's was the house in Forest Hill where Walnut meets. Thank you, Beth. Here's another big one. See, there was probably one house on this lot, but this ever since I've been here, this whole lot was empty. But now they're building 1, 2 infills here. We'll switch around over here and look at this house that still has its original awning on it. This is number 406. And look, here is Rin's house. She used to have forest over here, empty lot anyway, and 2 empty lots on this side. And now her little house is going to be snug between all these other ones. Don Miller says the Cummings just sold those lots. Well, good for them. I'm telling you, I say that all the time. I go, wham, wham, wham. We're losing all this land and these big houses are going up. But I'm telling you, part of it is envy. If I were somebody who lived in Hapeville and stuck it out through the hard times here, and I had a lot that I could sell for thousands of dollars and then that would help in my retirement, there's another one. I'd be all for it. But it's hard because I'm new here in Hapeville and I can see we're right on this cusp of what I can see what this city used to be like. And it's very appealing to me coming from having lived in Manhattan. And then I see, you know, I studied history in Manhattan, and over a 200-year period, I could see what happened to that city. And it's not bad. Nothing's neither all bad or all good. But it is. And I can see the beauty that was lost of that beautiful natural island. So we venture here, and oh, it's just so lovely here. Look at the leaves falling. And then I see, you know, the wheel is starting to spin faster here in Hapeville. And I love that people are moving here. I love it. I love it. I love having new neighbors. 414. How freaking cute is that? I don't think I've ever noticed that before. See, Douglas and I, we always look at the small houses. If and when we were ever to buy here in Hapeville, because we rent right now, because we still are like, how long are we going to be here? We don't know. We'd like to be here a lot longer, but just buying right now is not feasible for us. But when we do, if and when we do, this is something we'd be interested in, because we love small homes. It's just two of us. We don't need a lot. I'm 53. If we did stay here, this would be, you know, my quiet years, and I don't want a lot to have to take care of. I can't imagine something that big. It would stress me out so much. That would stress me out. As beautiful as that is, oh my God. I look at that and I go, oh, the upkeep. It gives me palpitations. I love, love, love number 423. This is my favorite one on the street, y'all. They put a little deck in the back. Oh, you've got just enough yard where you can go, I mow and I take care. But look at that cute little house from the 20s, maybe early 30s. Gosh, in heaven, do I love that. Douglas and I considered before we moved to Manhattan, we were like, we're either going to move to Manhattan and have that experience, or we're going to build a tiny house and have that experience. We were even thinking of doing a tiny house on wheels. I would do a tiny house stationary if it were this one. This number 423. It's beautiful. 427. It's in beautiful shape. I love this one because of this reminds me of the Brady Bunch, just because it's a very 60s, 70s mod type addition to probably what was originally, that was probably part of, I don't know, actually, now that I look at these stairs, back in the day, and this has been here a long time, these stairs would lead right up to your front door, so there may have been another house there before this one, but this is lovely. But that one, the White House, this one has been there a long time itself. Number 431, a woman named Susan Stone lives in there now. And then we're coming up to Old Jonesboro and Walnut, headed back towards my house. This house has been here for, oh gosh, since the 20s or 30s. And it has this huge corner lot. And I'm like, when's that going to get snatched up? Because a whole house could go there too. And again, I'm noticing that. I'm noticing all of this and going, a whole house could go there. I don't want you to get the idea that I want that to happen. Not particularly. 437 is a tiny little house. It's been there a really long time. I found an article about a young married couple in the early 30s that went off to their honeymoon, and it said they will return to Hapeville at number 437 after their honeymoon, and that was in the 30s. Okay, so I'm gonna cross the street. We're at Old Jonesboro and Walnut. This is the stretch of Walnut that I live on. Many, many decades ago, Walnut Street used to be called Pine Avenue. They changed it at some point. I'm guessing it's because there used to be a Pine Street or a Pine Drive down in the part of Hapeville where the airport is now. So there were two Pines. So there was a time where you lived in Hapeville and you went, I live on Pine, and people would have to go Avenue or Street. Maybe that's why they changed it to Walnut. So this whole stretch is all new infill. 439, 441, 447. These two are being built right now. Also love this one. Some of these houses I showed the other day, because I was walking down here. So you'll see me repeating because I'm walking back towards my house, which is the same route, 456. I think somebody told me they know the lady that lives there now, or who used to live there. You can hear the music from the construction workers inside. House is cute. But here's my impression of these houses, and you can just see it by the stuff outside. My impression is that the materials that we use to build our structures now are not going to afford someone like me in 50 years the opportunity to say, that house, look at this house. I think they'll be gone by then. These houses aren't built like they used to be. These two houses right here at the corner of Wheeler and Walnut, they were built in 1950. They're reflections of each other. My friend Brian lives in that one, and my friend Jennifer lives in that one. 468 and 472. I told Jennifer this story about, I think it was the 90s. There was a man that lived here. I don't know who he is, but he had some kind of domestic issues with a wife or an ex-wife, and he drove down to McDonough or somewhere, murdered her, went to prison. But luckily, my friend is, there she is. She's waving in the window. She's in her pajamas. Oh, that's so funny. She works from home. I love her. Billy McNair, good morning. Candace, good morning. I hope you guys will, I'm coming to the end of this walk, but I hope you'll go back to the beginning and watch this as a replay. Leave me any comments that you would like. This is number 479. One of my, come on. How idyllic is that, you guys? It's a little pink house. It needs some TLC, but ooh, I love that house, and it's got this whole lot next to it. If I were to own that house, I'd fix it up, and I would not sell that lot right next to it. I wouldn't. I say I wouldn't, y'all, right? And then somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'll give you this many thousands for it. But we've already got 2 infills right here next to my house. But golly gee, is that a cute house here on Walnut Street. I know back in the 90s, Alan Hallman, our current mayor, he used to own that house. He sold it to Clay and Julie, 488. Beautiful house with a above garage apartment there. And Clay has been there since 96, I think, and he's done a beautiful job. He has a beautiful garden in the back with a koi pond. This is number 48. A man named Ralph lives here. He's lived here since the 90s as well. And these are the new houses, 491 and 493. And now I am home. My house was the first one on the street, built in 1920. I can't even imagine what it must have been like being the only house on the street, but what a beautiful thing. All right, good timing. It's 9:30. I have to be over in East Point to take care of these cats at 10. Don says, I worked with Alan Hallman's father at Delta. Fantastic. I know they were a very important and influential family here in town. All right. Hope will never be silent. Harvey Milk. I made that sign. All right, friends. Thank you very much for joining me for this walk this morning. If you have any more comments or memories of people, places, events, things, homes that you saw, feel free to share them with me. I always love hearing it. And it's a beautiful day here in Hapeville. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Create yourself a great day. Bye.